the Union, a state of the pigskin pundits. We were talking about what is going on in the pigskin world, and I believe John was the one that said, "Hey, did you see that Luke Getsky got fired for the Las Vegas Raiders?" Like, I didn't know that. I thought he said he was going to get it, but it turns out he did get it. Him and a lot of the offensive coaches as well. Pretty much the whole offense is gone in Las Vegas, coaching staff wise. So they fired their offensive coordinator and offensive line, receiver coach, and I believe quarterback coach as well after the loss to the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. The Raiders guys now are now 2-7 on the season. So way or no way, is this just a way for Antonio Pierce to keep his job? Way or no way does Antonio Pierce see that he is on the hot seat, so he's like, fire everybody, so that will keep my job. So when we look at the Raiders, their offense has not been good this season. Let's just be honest. They're ranked 29th in the NFL. They're just in front of the Panthers, Browns, and Patriots as far as offensive rankings this season. Not very good. Only averaging 280 yards per game and 18.7 points per game. Just like the Kansas City Chiefs, they have not broke 30 points yet this season. Besides the 41 points given up to the Bengals on Sunday, 32 points to the Steelers week 6, and 34 points to the Broncos week 3, the defense has been holding teams to under 28 points. Still not very good, let's just be honest. And when we look at the Raiders season this season, the highlight and the low point of the season was beating the Baltimore Ravens. And honestly, guys, I can tell you the worst thing for the Las Vegas Raiders this season was beating the Baltimore Ravens in week 2. The reason why it was the worst thing ever was because Minshew played amazing. 30 for 38, 276 yards for 1 touchdown to 1 interception. They came back from 10 points down in the fourth quarter. But since then, Gardner Minshew has been benched twice. They will probably have their third starting quarterback next week when they play Miami, and they're just a bad team. And I hate to say it, but I told you so. I told you so. The simple fact of the matter, guys, this is a way. This is a way because Antonio Pierce was never the right guy for the job. Sure, he won 4 games last season, but let's just be honest. You beat 4 teams that were not playing very good football at that particular time. You beat the Chargers team that was buying for a top overall draft pick as is, right? You played the Kansas City Chiefs team that was at their lowest of the lowest points of the season, right? Thank you for beating us, by the way. That catapulted us to not losing a game since then. And then you lost to the Colts, a team that was fighting for everything, fighting for a playoff shot, but they literally try to give you the game away 5 times. You're like, nah, we don't want it. You guys keep it. And then you beat a bad Denver team. No, they weren't bad. They sucked last season. Let's just say it. Let's just say it how it is. They benched Russ, and they were just a terrible team. The Raiders kept saying all last season, well, we had a top 10 defense the last month of the season, yada, yada, yada. But yet you still couldn't keep teams out of the end zone. Twice in 2023, you held teams to under 10 points. Twice. That's not a top 10 defense to me. And guess what? This year you haven't held a team to underneath 10 points. Guys, this is a way. Antonio Pierce is just trying to save front at this phase, at this point in his career. He is trying to stay on the good graces of Tom Brady and old Mark Davis, right? Hey, it's the offense's fault, so I'm going to fire them now, right? And then when we suck for the rest of the season, well, it's because I had to bring in a new offensive staff. This is definitely a way. So, guys, way or no way, is Antonio Pierce firing the offensive staff to save face for him for next season? Way or no way? John says way. He agrees with me. We're on the same page, John. I knew I liked that Canadian for a reason. Kevin Cummings says, well, they beat the Ravens. Okay. They beat the Ravens, but I said, Kevin, it was the worst thing they could have done. False sense of security, right? False. Raiders fans were on cloud 9. Oh, I told you, Buck, we're going to the playoffs. We're winning the West. Told you all 5 wins. 8 losses in a row pending. I'm just saying. Since then, what have you done? Shit. But I guarantee you, John's going to come back here in the month of let's just say the Baltimore Ravens beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round of the playoffs. Let's just say that. Let's just say that happens. Hypothetically speaking, I guarantee you that Monday morning, when we're on live, 1:30 right here East Coast time, John is going to come into the chat those Chiefs suck. My Raiders beat the Ravens back in week number 2. You guys can't even beat the Ravens. We beat the Ravens. And Raiders fans are going to bank on this for a long, long time. Kevin, you're acting like a Raiders fan right now. Well, we beat the Ravens. We beat the Chiefs 400 days ago. Like, come on now. John says he's puking right now because you know I'm right, John. I've been right about your Raiders all season long. And Raiders fans, I'm still waiting for your apologies. I'm still waiting. You guys were calling me a clown. You're calling me this for saying, oh, we're not going to suck. You are going to suck. I told you this. Told you AP was wrong for the job. I told you didn't have a quarterback. I told you that your defense was overrated. I told you. And John says, wait. He agrees. He agrees. But Derek's like, whoa, slow it down, baby. No way, Derek, I believe you are a Raiders fan too. He says, preparing for a young quarterback. Look at Kingsbury and Daniels in D.C. This is the high point. Means we want a future. Okay, Derek, let me ask you this question logically. Cliff Kingsbury was the head coach for USC, right? Was he the offensive coordinator or a head coach? I can't remember. Either way, if you want to have that Kingsbury, Jaden Daniel connection, you are not going to hire somebody mid-season to fill that role, right? You are going to wait until the offseason, wait till the college season is over, and you are going to go to one of these college teams and be like, hey, head coach, man, you're putting up 40 points a game, Oregon coach. I don't know who the Oregon coach is right now. Hey, you're putting up some points. Come do that in Vegas. We'll give you $30, $40 million a season. Come here and do that for us. College coach like, well, you know what? I want a head coaching spot at some point, yada, yada, yada. Oh, you're our coach in waiting. That is the only way the Raiders are ever going to get that young guy, right? You're our coach in waiting. Or you are going to have to go to college and get somebody. Hiring somebody mid-season, week 10, going into week 10 NFL season is not going to build for the future. Building for the future would have been changed nothing and got a first overall pick. I'm just saying, Derek. I'm not trying to discredit what you're saying, but I'm saying, like, you're wrong. You're in a roundabout way. Laura says, weigh, and weigh again. And James says, wait. But he also said, you had to be delusional to think that team would win 5 games. They were tanking from day one. James, let me ask this question. Where did the Las Vegas Raiders get better from last season? Last season, they held teams to under 10 points twice last season. One was a 3-0 victory over the Minnesota Vikings, I might add. But defense did not get better. Yes, adding Christian Wilkins was a good name piece, but he was not a game changer by any stretch of the imagination. Gardner Minshew and Adrian O'Connell at quarterback was not the answer to nothing. I've been right about the Raiders all season long. And James, don't come in here and try to discredit it, because you know I'm right. James, I don't know, who are you a fan of? Are you a Raiders fan as well? You know I've been right about the Raiders all season long, and people are afraid to admit, damn, but you're not as dumb as you look. Isn't that what the people say? You're not as dumb as you look. Simple fact of the matter is Raiders suck. And James says, way. I agree. Kevin said, I said they beat the Ravens before you spoke. Raiders beating the Ravens has the Ravens in 3rd place in the AFC behind my Bills. I know. Chucky OC would have been massive. Way. John Gruden's not coming back to the Raiders. I'm just saying. Derek says, building through the draft for a couple seasons. 4 years ago, 80% of the team was 30. And if you look at those drafts, let's look back to when they drafted the quarterback from Kentucky. What was his name? And they drafted him as a receiver in like the 1st round. Yeah, can't remember his name because he's no longer on the team. I think I saw a stat that there is not one 1st or 2nd round draft pick from the last 5 seasons on the Raiders staff or team right now. I'm just saying. Mark Davis likes Antonio Pierce. He has the locker room. He is on year 3. Antonio Pierce might be on year 3 as a coaching staff, but this is his first full season as a head coach. And I don't think he has the locker room. You've seen it with Davante Adams. He does not have the locker room, right? John says Henry Ruggs III was a mistake, but that shit happens. No, John, that was just a stupid mistake on Henry Ruggs' part. He had a very bright future in the NFL, and he still might have a very bright future in the NFL when he gets out of jail this time next season, or maybe 2 seasons. But either way, the Raiders don't know how to draft. That is their problem. They don't know how to draft. They don't know how to build within the draft, and they thinking Tom Brady can do that. I don't know. But the problem is the Raiders want to win now. They want to be all in now. So they hire people that think, oh, he can do it, but they're just not very good. This is a way, 100% way. The Raiders messed up. Now, let's just be honest, guys. The Raiders messed up. And I will still accept apologies until next week.